Welcome back to Crypto Meets AI. Jerry here with an update for you. Do me a favor, friends. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and comment down below. Now let's get into this. The 10 million XRP per day scenario. Yesterday, Bitwise and Canary Capital did a combined accumulation of over 10 million XRP taken in assets under management. That's only two of the funds. To understand this, extrapolate the scope of these funds in this emerging asset. With no XRP price change at 220, one day, 10 million XRP per day, 50 million XRP per week, 200 million XRP per month, 2.4 billion XRP in 1 year, and 4.8 billion XRP in 2 years. These funds are in perpetuity and have only one goal: growth, acquire, expand, repeat. Some breaking news. BlackRock just detonated the truth bomb the crypto industry has avoided for years. Stablecoins are winning the payments race. Bitcoin is digital gold, not for transactions. Bobby Mitchnick didn't hint at it. He stated it outright. What he's really saying in plain English is this: Bitcoin is not a transaction asset. It never was. It never will be. The world's biggest asset manager just confirmed what XRP holders have known for a decade. The global payments lane belongs to fast, compliant settlement, optimized rails, and that's exactly what the XRP Ledger was built for. And in this new era, the stablecoin that matters the most is not generic. It's RLUSD, because RLUSD lives natively on the XRPL with instant finality, institutional hooks, real-world corridors, enterprise-grade compliance, frictionless global settlement. Bitcoin becomes digital gold, RLUSD becomes the payment fuel, and XRP remains the bridge asset that connects the entire system. BlackRock isn't predicting the future. They're describing Ripple's roadmap in real time. The shift has already begun, my friends. You gotta think like Fink.
We believe the next step going forward will be the tokenization of financial assets. And that means every stock, every bond will have its own, basically, CUSIP. It'll be on one general ledger. Every investor, you and I, will have our own number, our own identification. We could rid ourselves of all issues around illicit activities about bonds and stocks and digital by having a tokenization. But the most importantly thing, we can customize strategies through tokenization that fits every individual. We would have instantaneous settlement. Think about all the costs of settling bonds and stocks. But if you had a tokenization, everything would be immediate because it's just a line item. And so we believe this is a technological transformation for financial assets. I believe if you want to talk about voting and voting choice and all the things, if we know every moment who is the owner of that stock and it's now time to vote, every individual who has ownership is identified and they can vote their own shares.
In 2026, I really believe we're going to see mass institutional adoption like we've never seen before. And by 2030, the landscape of the financial system will not look the same. TradFi had decades to fix the system and failed. XRP is solving it now. Slow, expensive payments, locked up capital, liquidity trapped in outdated rails. With on-demand liquidity, tokenized assets, and compliance-ready tools, XRP isn't patching TradFi. It's replacing it with something smarter. Ever waited days for a cross-border wire? That's the pain XRP eliminates in seconds. Ever watch fees eat into your capital? XRP flips that model with low-cost, high-speed finality. The more I look, the more obvious it becomes. XRP is solving real-world problems that traditional systems refuse to touch. Comment down below, share, like, subscribe. This is pretty interesting. Check this out. Representative Warren Davidson says the U.S. can fund its Bitcoin reserve by accepting taxes and BTC, which is exactly what the Bitcoin for America Act enables. But that's no different than using tax dollars to buy it. I don't see how that's any different because it was stated that they're not going to use tax dollars to buy Bitcoin, XRP, Solana, or ADA. Let's hear what he has to say. I'm pretty interested, actually.
Introduced the Bitcoin for America Act, which would allow Americans to pay their federal taxes in Bitcoin. Tell us about this.
Well, look, we're talking about affordability. That's just your dollar's been getting crushed. You know, the house that you live in didn't inherently get more valuable. The money that you measure it in got worth less. And gold is another indicator. One of the best performers in the past year, 2 years has been gold. And that's just one of the worst performers has been the dollar. So a lot of people hold other assets. Bitcoin's been one of the big rises over the last 10 years for sure. And you could pay your taxes in Bitcoin and avoid capital gains on that. But the president created a strategic Bitcoin reserve. How do you fund it? Well, having one control point, the treasurer, Secretary of Treasury, control it makes sense. But you can fund it with no government spending just by collecting Bitcoin as payments for taxes. So that's what the Bitcoin for America Act does.
Like I said, that's no different than collecting taxes from Americans and then buying Bitcoin itself anyways. So there's really no difference there in my opinion. That's probably why he's trying to push it through Congress as the Bitcoin for America Act. The only way Bitcoin stays around is if it gets tokenized on a ledger like XRP or XLM or HBAR or XDC. That's the only way Bitcoin becomes efficient for transactional purposes. Zebec cards, Dash, is becoming the 19th blockchain integrated into the Zebec Silver and Carbon cards. Starting Monday, December 1st, users will be able to load and spend Dash instantly, powered by Dash Instant Send, followed by the launch of the official Dash custom debit card next month, powered by Zebec and Dash. I'm telling you, friends, Zebec is going to be huge. They're taking over the payroll industry. Will December 10th be D-Day for stocks and crypto? Fundstrat's head of technical strategy, Mark Newton, says the Fed's decision on December 10th could swing all markets upwards and downwards. Don't forget that.
Well, we're seeing breakouts in stocks like Apple and, of course, Google.
I love it, though.
So
that's what
there's something for everybody.
Yeah,
Small caps today are working really well. We see the eco-weighted S&P. So it's not a bad time. The key is that we really need to accelerate, and that might take some time. I envision it's going to be a choppy time until the Fed, and then we can start to likely turn a little bit higher. So I don't think we're out of the...
December 10th could be the date.
Well, I think we need to bide our time. There's no certainty in terms of a rate cut just yet, and there's a lot of job owning, and it's difficult.
What if we don't? What if we don't? What if we fail to break out? I mean, what's the risk on the downside?
Well, the risk is that we take out these lows. That is the most important level on the whole chart for bulls and bears. If that's broken, then we're going to make an equivalent leg of this down before we move up, which is likely mid-December into mid-January.
Okay.
So it's choppy. You know, there are things that are working.
And that's why you wait.
That's the good news.
And that's why you wait, because of the near-term vulnerability before the Fed meeting.
It's important to be diversified among tech and not just all in NVIDIA.
Same thing with MAGs. It's a very similar chart.
That's
same thing, same sort of setup.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, if we get over 66.11, that's a great sign. Technically, we've broken a little trend and we can start to move higher. But here also a lot of momentum to the downside. So I suspect it's going to prove choppy before we start to turn back up, and likely late December. Yeah.
So overall, the S&P. Love it today. When I came into this studio, only 2 sectors are down. Even tech was only down like 0.00 something, right? So, I mean, to have a rally with these big names struggling is impressive. And, you know, they don't carry the weight that they did. But it feels like if we close back above this 50 on strong volume, does that mean something?
I don't particularly look at the 50 as being critical, but look, to each their own. In 2018-19 and as well as 2023-24, the 50 was very, very difficult to use as a timing tool. You want to use the slope of the moving average, how far above or below you are to a moving average, not that per se, but it's great to see other groups working today, you know, outside of technology.
The death cross looming over XRP, bear trap or elite purge for ETF billions. XRP teeters at the edge of a classic death cross at the 50-day MA, slicing below the 200-day as bearish signals flash red amid broader market weakness. Yet analyst Egreg debunks the doom. XRP holds firm above the rising 200 MA with momentum intact, no true bear market here. Just echoes of the 2018's post-crash signal. Not a leader. Structure screams bull trap, repeating 2017-2021 setups for explosive rebounds. But here's the shadow. With Franklin and Grayscale's ETFs locking billions today, while the engineered dip, elites purging retail hands at $2.50 support, front-loading vaults before the flood. ISO switch flip now. The death cross clears the path for the bridge assets coronation. Panic sell or cabal cleanup. You holding through the cross or decoding the purge? Drop your year-end estimate down. XRP calls $3 purge bottom. Is it all a setup? Well, that's what I have for you folks. Until next time, stay savvy, stay stacking, and I'll catch you in the next one. If you enjoyed this, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and comment down below. And if you want more crypto deep dives, check out our videos right here on Crypto Meets AI. Thank you for watching. Remember to always do your own research. This is not financial advice.